Hurricane Michael is one of the most devastating storms ever to take aim at Florida. I'm Mike Naso with this late morning update on our very, very powerful Category 4 hurricane. To be honest with you, I recorded an update just a few minutes ago, but it was preempted by an update from the National Hurricane Center that winds now have increased to 150 miles per hour with higher gusts. And the pressure is 923 millibars. Of course, Andrew was 922 millibars. This is going to be one of the strongest hurricanes ever to hit the state of Florida, it looks like, and by far the strongest to make landfall on the Florida Panhandle. There you can see the satellite imagery, just a perfectly symmetric hurricane. Every time I'm waiting for Michael to start to fall apart, because a lot of hurricanes do right at the coast, he just looks better and better. And time has run out for the preparations. The weather's getting very nasty. Apalachicola, Mexico Beach, Panama City, you guys look like you could be in for ground zero from a high-end Category 4 hurricane. Not very far, I'm afraid, from a Category 5. Here's the latest radar out of northwest Florida. Look at that eye wall. The worst winds are right within this eye wall here, impinging on these barrier islands. Mexico City, Panama City, Apalachicola, this whole little cove area here of the Florida Panhandle is going to take a very serious slamming from this dangerous hurricane. Although I should note, hurricane force winds are about 40 miles from the center. So you're going to have hurricane force winds now starting to impact the coastline, and then those disastrous Category 4 winds with Category 5 gusts will blow through in the eye wall, which is right around the center of the hurricane. Of course, we also have onshore flow well to the right of where Michael will come ashore, which is going to pile up the water, and that is a significant threat with this storm, the storm surge. Areas like St. Marks, Florida, Apalachicola, these barrier islands, even in the outskirts of Tallahassee up here, you guys are going to deal with that water rise 9, 10, 12, 15 feet of surge on the right front quadrant of that center is where the strongest winds are, and the right side is where the onshore flow will be pushing that water. So St. George Island, the barrier island there, areas here, St. Marks, Florida, Apalachicola, Florida, you guys are likely to be inundated with storm surge, and we've already seen the water start rising. This is a very serious situation, and again, I stress, if you live in these low-lying areas and you have not evacuated, it's probably too late to do so. So try and get to higher ground, a shelter, hunker down. St. Vincent Sound and areas like Port St. Joe, St. Joseph Bay, and Mexico Beach. Again, it looks like the eye will probably make landfall in the vicinity of Mexico Beach in a couple of hours. So areas of East Bay, Panama City, these barrier islands here are really going to face the brunt of just a catastrophic wind hurricane and a devastating surge hurricane. Look at that visible satellite imagery as the sun hits the eye wall. Look at that, the sun hitting the north and northwest eye wall. Little mesovortices in there. Remember during Hurricane Andrew how one house would be destroyed and then another would survive? During these very intense hurricanes, you could have downbursts of wind, especially when they're steady or strengthening as they make landfall, and that could even exacerbate the already horrific wind damage. There are indications that Michael is going to be just a tremendous wind hurricane right at the coast. So areas like Mexico Beach and Panama City, you guys might be in for certainly some of the strongest winds the state of Florida has seen in the last 30 years. Maybe only Andrew and Charlie rival that. Andrew was 165 when it came into Homestead. Charlie was 150. Punta Gorda and areas North Captiva Island, that region. Michael is 150. So this is as strong, if not stronger, than Hurricane Charlie. And remember the wind damage, Punta Gorda, 2004. Seems like yesterday. And it's going to be horrible. You can see little wobbles this way, that way. But again, it's moving faster now, about 15 miles an hour. So time is running out along the Florida Panhandle. All preparations to protect life and property should have already been rushed to completion, as we have a very devastating Category 4 hurricane bearing down on the Florida Panhandle. Everybody, hunker down. This is crunch time as Michael comes in.